abuse bado. Them know, them know we go do it. Them do my body. Them know it not by me. They don't buy somebody. They don't know you never. They don't know you want to. But you know what? Big old wound do you? You don't know. You didn't know. Now you know. Drug abuse bado. You don't know. You didn't know. Now you know. Drug abuse bado.
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye, care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way. Concerns you, either kill the law, either kill dreams, either land people for jail. War against drug abuse. Drug abuse.
Yeah, very good afternoon to all of us on this space. This is NDL's open forum.
Operatives on 19th March 2022 at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, during the inward clearance of Ethiopian Airlines flight from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, after he was found to have ingested 100 big wraps of cocaine weighing 2.243 kilograms. He was subsequently arraigned at the Federal High Court Abuja Division and was granted bail on certain conditions after he pleaded not guilty. He thereafter absconded, leading the court to revoke his bail and issue an arrest warrant against him. In a curious twist, Ikenna was again arrested by the NDLA operatives on 1st August 2023 at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, while attempting to export 1.822 kilograms of cocaine to India through ingestion using a different passport and under a different name, Ilonze Kingsley Onyebuchi. He was again arraigned before Justice Nicholas Owebo of the Federal High Court, Lagos Division. He pleaded guilty to the 2 counts charge and was convicted and sentenced on 18 October 2023 to a total term of 7 years of or a fine of 1.5 million naira. He paid the fine and was transferred to Abuja to face the importation case pending against him. He was rearraigned on 20th March 2024 at the Abuja Division of the Federal High Court before Justice Joyce Obehi Abdul Malik, where he pleaded guilty again. Despite his plea, the court, noting his lack of remorse, the seriousness of drug related offenses, and the fact that he is a repeated offender, convicted and sentenced him to life imprisonment. In the case of 42-year-old Agbo Chidike Prince, he was arrested at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, during the inward clearance of Ethiopian Airlines flight to Hong Kong on the 21st October 2023 for ingesting 49 wraps of cocaine weighing 998.73 grams. Upon his arraignment before Justice Joyce Obehi Abdulmalik of the Federal High Court Abuja Division, the defendant pleaded guilty to the one-count charge, prompting the prosecution to present evidence and review the facts of the case. Despite the plea of allocutus by the defendant's counsel, the court, noting the nature of the case and the commercial quantity of the drug, emphasized the seriousness of the drug-related offenses, convicted and sentenced the defendant on the 15 April 2024 to life imprisonment. Meanwhile, NDLEA officers at the Gate C departure hall of the Lagos airport on Friday, 26 April, arrested a passenger, Yahaya Danjuma Otura, while attempting to export 4,000 pills of tramadol 225 milligram to Malpensa, Italy, on an Ethiopian airline flight. The psychoactive substance was found concealed in women's wear and granulated million packed in the suspect's backpack and another bag containing food items. In his statement, Otura, who is a frequent flyer, confessed he was hired to carry out the drug for €700 on successful delivery of the consignment in Italy. In Bayelsa, NDLA operatives on Wednesday, 24th April, arrested 28-year-old Jennifer Ilia at Amarata area of Yenagua for producing and distributing cakes laced with illicit drugs, especially cannabis sativa. At the time of her arrest, substantial number of the drug cakes weighing 1.5 kilograms were recovered from her. A 20-year-old hairstylist Josephine Odunu and dispatch rider Edesemi Ikporo, 30, had been arrested on Sunday, 10th March by NDLA operatives in Yanagwa for similar offense. Two suspects, Joseph Dadik, 47, and Ben Shayari, 32, were arrested with 24,180 ampoules of pentazocine injection weighing 135.5 kilograms at Sabon Tasha, Kaduna, while Adamu Umar, 18, was nabbed with 20.700 kilograms of cannabis when his house in Shuwari area of Mubi, Adamawa State, was raided on Friday, 26 April. In no less than 310.7 kilogram cannabis was recovered on Thursday, 25th April, when NDLA operatives raided parts of Mushin in Lagos State, while 300 kilograms was seized at Olatunji Street, Mushin. 10.7 kilograms of same substance was retrieved from two suspects, Tijani Wasiu and Suleiman Aisha, at Anifowoshe, Mushin. While Stanley Chukwudi, 43, was arrested with 5,900 ampoules of pentazocine injection at Sabongari area of Kano State on Thursday, 25th April, at a couple, Frederick Odion, 53, and Gladys Odion, 52, were nabbed with 50 kilogram cannabis at Pen, Esan West Local Government, Edo State, by NDLA officers on Wednesday, 24th April. While commending the officers and men of the Directorate of Prosecution and Legal Services of the agency for the diligent prosecution of Uwazoke and Agbo cases, Chairman Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, said the success rate of the cases prosecuted by the agency has shown that there is no escape route for those involved in the illicit trade of drug trafficking. He equally applauded those of MMIA, Lagos, Kaduna, Kano, Edo, Adamawa, and Bayelsa commands, as well as their counterparts in all in all the commands across the country for intensifying their drug supply and drug demand reduction activities. That's it on arrests and seizures. Over to you, Comfort.
Thank you, Mahmoud. My name is Comfort Folorenshaw, and here are some of the wider activities across the country for the week. In the ongoing battle against drug abuse in Nigeria, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, is taking decisive action to raise awareness and promote a drug-free society through the War Against Drug Abuse WADA initiative. In this regards, the agency constantly engages with communities, schools, religious bodies, and leaders through sensitization programs, ensuring that stakeholders are informed on their roles in fighting the drug scourge. On Tuesday, the 23rd of April 2024, the Katsina State Command delivered a sensitization program to pupils of Madrusutu Islamia in Kandaguru, Dusumia local government area, following suit by delivering sensitization lectures in schools on Wednesday, April 21st, where the Ondo State Command to staffs and students of Jubilee Secondary School in Ore, the Adamawa State Command to the students of Modibo Adama University in Yola, and the Enugu State Command to students and staff of Ukpukyozo Eze High School in Oji River Local Government. With the same intensity, the Ogun State Command reached out to 2,000 students of the Royal Institute of Health Technology in Papa, Afo, Yawa, South Local Government Area, highlighting the negative effects of drug abuse and trafficking on their life actualization. Meanwhile, the Lagos State Command took the water sensitization lecture to Songo Tedo Health Center in Aja, where they emphasized the threat of drug use to both physical and mental health. On Thursday, the 25th of April 2024, the Anambra State capped the WADA activities for the week by delivering a WADA sensitization lecture to over 4,000 students of Federal Government College in Nursing. That's the update for this week. My name is Comfort, and I hand you over to our host, Mr. Femi Babafemi.
All right, thank you very much there, Mahmoud. Thank you for the updates. Now, I'd like to welcome each and every one of us back from the news highlight segments. Now, let's remind ourselves about some of the rules guiding our conversation on this platform today. Please, would like to let you know that indeed no one is allowed to mute themselves when others are speaking or when our guest is making his presentation. Please let remain muted when you are allowed on the speaker's corner. Please ensure that you remain muted until after our guest presentation. And we start inviting individuals to unmute themselves to ask questions, interrogate the presentation, or even make contributions. And let's ensure that this is done in few seconds so that we can get the mic round as many people as possible, just for us to hear from others, learn from one another. I'd like to appreciate you for your cooperation every week on this program. Of women, so he will also, while sharing his own experiences while talking about opioid addiction, the treatment options, he would also be sharing some experiences, especially as the women fold is concerned. The women fold is affected by this scourge. And but before I get to him, I'm sure it's someone quite a lot of us must have come across in the course of his activities. Is a young man that I know. I met him, and I know he has quite a lot of potential, quite a lot of things to offer the community. I mean, his community, our country, and the world at large. So, indeed, he has quite a lot of things to offer and to share with us on this platform today. But before I invite him, let me quickly remind us about the NDLA's call center, where we have quite a number of our experts working 24/7. That is every hour, every minute, and every second of the day. They are right there in our center to provide support, psychosocial services, support services to all of those suffering or who are going through some form of some who are going through some struggles with substance abuse and even dependence. They are there to provide support to you, either through teletherapy or even guiding you and directing you to the closest rehabilitation or treatment center to you so that you can get the support you need. You need. And in this case, we have a toll-free helpline at the center where our counselors, our psychologists, psychotherapists, as well as psychiatric doctors are all waiting to provide support to you. All you need to do is right in the comfort of your home, where you feel comfortable, where you know quite well that nobody will see you, nobody will judge you, and nobody will stigmatize you. Just make a call to our toll-free helpline 0800 1020 3040, and they would be glad to assist you, to listen to you with empathy, without judging you, without any fear of stigmatization. And then another good thing about this call at helpline, and you will be glad you did. Another thing I'd like to tell you about this center is that the services there, support there, it's language friendly, language sensitive, meaning that if you cannot communicate or talk to our experts in English or pidgin English, they can also assist you. They can talk to you in any of the three major Nigerian languages, that is Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo. So feel free to take opportunity, take advantage of this service to get the needed help. And also, if it's not even you, but you are part of this conversation today, or you are listening to this conversation today, please let someone who is struggling or who needs this help know that indeed there is a support service offered by the NDLA through a toll-free helpline 0800 1020 3040, so that the person can get the needed help. This could be your friend, it could be your neighbor, this could be a family member. Please, let's share this information, and doing that, you may be saving a life. Now, let's come to our guest today. As I was telling you, is someone I know personally, and is someone I know indeed will give a good account of himself in his presentation today. And that is Kenneth Aneto. Kenneth is the executive director of a New Thing International Foundation. He's had more than a decade of experience in the not-for-profit sector. That is where he runs his organization, A New Thing International Foundation. I came across him through the activity of that particular non-governmental organization. Talking about Kenneth himself, he is a certified trainer. He has his first degree in journalism and mass communication, but thereafter he went for further studies, and as a result, he is a certified trainer of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, that's UNODC, where he was awarded a certificate for understanding addictions and subsequently identification, counseling, and treatment of opioids use disorder from Harvard Medical School. In his drive to acquiring more knowledge, Kenneth also studied and got a diploma in transpersonal health, that is transpersonal health diploma from Elohim University in London, and another teacher's training diploma from the same university in London, as well as a postgraduate diploma in education from the University of Ilorin. Most recently, that's on the 20th of April 2024, Kenneth received the Nigerian Emerging Leaders Award for his outstanding contributions to society. And prior to this, again, precisely 25th of March 2023, Mr. Neto was awarded the African 40 Under 40 Honorary Award for Drug Abuse Control in Africa. Wow, thank you very much. Much earlier again in November 2022, Kenneth also received the Outstanding Personality in Drug and Substance Abuse Prevention Award. Mr. Kenneth Anefa serves as a consultant for the Joint Committee, that's Senate and House of Representatives Committee on Drugs and Narcotics, that's of the National Assembly here in Nigeria, as a certified UNODC trainer. He has partnered with the Office of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, partnered with NDLA Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, that's MANOWAR, Nigerian Youth Parliament, Drug Free World International, and much more to carry out drug demand reduction and community development programs in Abuja, Niger State, Kebbi State, Nasarawa State, Sokoto State, Imo State, Ebonyi State, Enugu State, to mention but just a few across Nigeria. He is passionate about health, education, gender rights, youth development, and helping to reduce the stigma associated with drug dependency, treatment, and reintegration. Now, please join me in welcoming Kenneth Anieto as I invite him to unmute himself while we listen to him discuss our topic for today, that is opioids, addiction and treatment options, reflections of a survivor. That will take the next 40 minutes thereabout. Please unmute yourself and let's enjoy your presentation. Kenneth, thank you.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much, Kenneth. You are loud and clear. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Sir. Okay, sir. Well, I would like to thank the NDLA under the leadership of the chairman for this opportunity and for this platform. I would like to thank the Director of Media and Advocacy, Mr. Femi Babafemi, for this platform. I don't take it for granted. I'd like to thank the contact person, the liaison person that reached out to me, Mr. Francis, for this platform and for this opportunity. I don't take it for granted. When Mr. Femi was reading out the citation, I was like, is this me? When someone of that caliber is reading out the citation of a young boy, just makes you wonder. I thank God for this opportunity and I don't take it for granted. Thank you everyone for being here. Without further ado, my name is Kenneth Aneto and Mr. Femi has read out the citation. I'll just be talking about my experience because this is reflection of a survivor. To me, I won't call it like an experience. I actually call it a testimony because it was God that helped me through everything I went through. And God is the reason I'm still here. So I would like to start with when I actually had my first encounter with substance. Growing up as a young man, I was privileged to grow up in a good family. And when I was in GS3, the secondary school I went to, I was a prefect. I think we're the first set. So I was a prefect from GS1 to GS3. So when we went to SS1, I had gone for a break in the United States, no, in the UK. And when we came back, abruptly, I had been a prefect and had been a leader in school. My appointment, my prefectship was just cut short without any explanation, without any regard. Nobody ever called me and did a formal counseling. Ironically, yesterday, the same school actually called me for an interview. So I was in my secondary school yesterday. They wanted to interview me for a social media campaign that they're doing. So I actually had this discussion with them. So they didn't tell me anything. I was the sports prefect from GS1 to GS3. So when we got to SS1, I was not told anything. No information was given to me. They just came on assembly one day and said they're announcing new prefects. So I was expecting, okay, maybe they're changing our badge or the color of our badge or something. And all of a sudden, I was no more a prefect. And looking back in retrospect from a more informed point of view with all the training and understandings that I have now of human psychology, I think that that actually had a psychological effect on me because all my life I had been the good boy. I had always wanted to be good. I'd always found reason to push myself to be a leader. And when this leadership was stripped from me without any explanation or anything, I now said to myself, is this the reward I get for being good all this while, for being a leader, for pushing myself in this capacity? Is this the reward I get? So I made up my mind that instead of being the good boy, the nice boy, that I would actually be the bad boy now. That I'll be the bad guy. That if you ever walked into a classroom and you looked and you saw me, you'd say, this is the bad guy. So all the characteristics that a bad person would have, I started to study those habits and started to imbibe those things, and I became rude to teachers. I became I became unruly. Then we had some transfer students that came. One of them was Bilal Roda, may his soul rest in peace. His name was Bilal Roda. He was an Italian boy, but he was huge. He was very tall for his age. He was, as at that period when we were in SS1, he was already about 5'8", 5 feet, 5'8" at that period. He was very huge, very tall, and he was very unruly. And we used to hang out. Since I knew that this was like the bad boy in school. So I got close to him. We became friends, and we continued our rascally behavior. So one day, Bilal told me, have I ever had weed, marijuana? And I was like, yes, no, which was a lie. I was like, yes, I have it all the time. When I'm in this thing, I take it all the time. When I'm home, I take it all the time. It was not like he's going to bring it into school. I was like, wow, okay, I should bring it to school. And when he gets, he should give me. I can take plenty. This. Prior to that incident, I'd actually never had marijuana. So it was around, I think, in the afternoon, before night prep, like in the afternoon after lunch, when we were going back to the dormitory. He just called me. He gave it to me. They're like, I have to eat it quickly. So I ate it, ingested it, and by the time it was evening, what time? By the time it was later in the evening, around night prep, the effects started to slowly manifest. The the sounds were humming. My vision was a bit blurry. Things were vibrating, and I was just reacting. Like I will never forget the way that my stomach, like, what's that word? What would I explain that as? Involuntary muscle flexing. My stomach was just involuntarily rolling, and Bilal noticed that I was acting different, and he was sitting behind me in class, and he started laughing. That night, I left the prep, and I went to like the place behind the toilet, beside the toilet, and like there's no light there, and I just slept. When it was about time, because in our school we had like a nightcap after night prep. After dinner there's night prep, and after night prep there's a nightcap. The last meal, I think that's around 9 o'clock, around 9:30 before we go to bed. So we had nightcap. So we went to go and take our nightcap. Bilal came to get me from the toilet, and that was the first time. Then it happened, and it continued to happen over and over again until 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 it got to a stage that I became the person that was, instead of Bilal bringing the things to school, I had worked out with the cleaners, and they began to bring these substances into school, and a lot of things happened in the school. It became a mess. A lot of people got introduced to these substances, and it became a mess until the school became tired of us. And I believe that was my first, that was my second secondary school. That was, so we all got expelled. A lot of us got expelled from there, and I proceeded to another school. And when I got to that other school, it was like me having to build a structure from scratch again. One thing that I noticed about myself is that I had always been a wonderful leader, but at that point, my leadership skills were being put in the wrong direction. So, as I did in the former school, I set up a structure of people that could bring these drugs in. I prepared another structure of people that had the potential to take these drugs, And I just arranged ourselves. We made groups, and we would start using the drugs again in the second school. But thank God that I was not as rough as I was in the first school. So I actually graduated from that second school, and I thank God for that. Then immediately I was now sent to the university, and that was where everything just went out of hand. I had too much money on my hands. I had free time, and I had a lot to do. So what did I do? I started the routine over again, over again, over again. I remember one incident in school. By this time, we had what drugs were we taking? We were taking marijuana, we were taking Rafenol, we were taking codeine, Benylin with codeine, Pacalin, different some of those drugs that had codeine in them, and things were just going out of hand. There was one particular day, the school that I went to, I was opportune to go to, had a lot of prominent people's children in it, and they were just misbehaving. There was one particular day that we had taken so much drugs, and we decided that we decided we should rest. But one of our former president's son had constructed something with marijuana, and it was so appealing that we believed that we should just go out for the last time in front of the school gates. And while we're out there smoking, it looked like an Okada was coming, and the bike was approaching, and the bike was approaching. All about maybe 8 or 11 of us were just on the main road. I don't know why we were so casual. It was in our in our first week of university. We were so casual, and the car was approaching. As the light was coming, we thought it was a bike, only for the car to now arrive, and we saw it was a pickup van full of police officers. As the police officer began to jump out of the vehicle and began to run and all these things, apparently I was the one that was holding the light. Up, and and everybody was scouring. I remember the way one officer dressed, like stretched his gun to shoot. I never forget that. Out of the 11 people, about three of us were apprehended, and were now told to go into the car. They were like, we should identify ourselves. As we began to try to identify ourselves, I don't think we were holding any ID cards. School had not given us student IDs. This was around 2007, and that was when one of our friends' dad, a very prominent figure, began to call. On seeing his father's call, he looked at the phone. The police officer said, "Give me the phone." He smashed the phone on the floor. As the phone scattered on the floor, the police officer started to beat him up. As they began to beat him up, me and our other colleague just gently went inside the pickup van and sat down. We didn't want any trouble. By the time they had finished beating him up, they just packed him and put him inside the car. And they were just proceeding with us. And they were like, empty your pockets. All that was going through my mind was going to say, what are my parents going to say? How did I get here? What is going on? How did I get here? One thing I realized back in those days, that I always had situations that I would ask myself, how did I get here? How did I get here? And then that's the moment to start making promises to God. Dear Lord, if you take me out of this, I promise. Dear Lord, if you can help me now, I promise. I promise. In that moment, and I remember that I had a lot of money in my pocket. I had like one bundle of, I think, 500 naira notes. So I spoke to my friend because he speaks Hausa. I said, they were telling us, empty your pockets. What's there? This. I had paracetamol and some other things. And I told him that I have money. He was like, how much money do you have? I said, I have plenty. So I brought out the money. And they were like, the officers were like, what's that? What's that? What's that? And I gave it to my friend. And my friend, as they just pointed a flashlight at the money, then my friend began to count. As he finished counting, I think he counted like 23,000. As he finished counting like 23,000, he just folded the rest, put it in his pocket. Then the police officer that held the flashlight, he wanted to give it to the police officer that held the flashlight. They now used the flashlight to direct him, point him to another direction. As they pointed him to that direction, he just gave it to that person. Then they tapped the van, and after they tapped the van, they said we should jump down. The van stopped, and they said we should jump down. As the three of us walked back to campus, it was like memories were in our head saying, "Thank God, we promised we won't do this, we won't do this, we won't do this." But that was not the end. The cycle continued. Cycle continued until I got expelled from that particular university again. After being expelled from that university again, I came to Abuja. I was meant to go to the UK, so I began another course, A levels in school here, and I just felt like that was a cage. That was a cage. Well, apart from this, there was also another light that was on my life by the grace of God. I had since I was in primary school, I was always on TV for different programs, for art programs, and things like that. So my parents, although they were tired of my behavior, they knew that this is a talented boy and God has something for his life. So at intervals, there would always be people here from Multina Family Dance Hall, from Globalcom, from all these big brands that did talent programs coming to the house to interview for competitions that I had won. So even though my parents were angry, they still knew that, okay, this young man had potential. So within those intervals, I had won a couple of competitions. When I came back from APTI, there was a program that Globalcom did, and I was the one that won the competition, brought home money, shared all those. Then High School Musical, Disney Channel had a program that year. It was called High School Musical. So they wanted to do a Nigerian edition. So they came to Nigeria to look for the cast that they would use. And by God's grace, I was picked among the cast. But when I was meant to go, the parents refused. They said that no, that I would get too wild, that they are trying to measure the fame and everything, that if this one just adds, is international. But instead of them allowing me to go, they said I should go to another university. So I now went to Madonna, and that was where I just sank. I think I was in a very depressed state. Madonna was like a glorified secondary school. All I did in that school was take codeine, mix it with yogurt every day. That was all I did every day. I was angry. I was I was not a social person. Then opportunities for talent and all those things began to come, and I started to socialize again. But while I was in that school, I had a very good friend. I think this was my third school, third tertiary institution. So while I was in that school, I had a friend, and that friend, they were billionaires. That dad was, so we used to do all these talent things together. Then his father passed away, and it was a sad moment for us. So when his dad passed away, he was grieving. Then one day he just told us, "What are we doing in school?" His dad is a billionaire, and his dad has passed away. That is him that will control all the funds now. That we should just forget about school. Told one of us, "You're into this, come, let's go." It was like me, you're into music, you're into dancing, you're into entertainment. Just do your entertainment thing. We'll fund everything, we'll share the money. And that was how I left school. It's ironic that you would think that we would actually do anything entertainment. We never recorded any songs. All we did was buy drugs. All we did was have parties. Then we would sing in the parties, just bringing people together. And it was like a roller coaster ride from there on. It's funny how somebody would think that they are dependent on their parents as a young man, but you discover that if somebody is ready to give you between 5,000 to 50,000 naira every morning, you see that you will feel like you don't really need anybody. And that's how it was every day. All and all, we just continue spending, 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 spending. We never did any music. There would always be girls in the house. sometimes you won't even feel like talking to your girl. The girls didn't even want to go anywhere because there was drugs, there was money. Then my friend began to get paranoid for some reasons because his dad had died under some kind of spiritual circumstances, and he began to feel like people were after his life. So he started to tell us that we have to do one or two things. So he started buying guns in the house that people can come and kill him, that he needs to buy guns. And these guns were not illegal guns. Like he had licenses. All the guns, there were like 6 guns in the house. All the guns had licenses. He had started buying dogs. We had like 12 dogs in the house. And the house was big, like really big. Apple was big, massive. Started buying more cars. It was turning into a cartel. Now when you have cars, you have guns, you have too much money without thinking of what to do with it, and you now have a lot of drugs, it begins to open up some kind of possibilities that you start looking for trouble. You become more troublesome because you know you're looking for where to test those things, and we became very troublesome. I just thank God that the opportunity to test some of those ammunitions never arose. That was the mercy of God. That was the mercy of God. So on one fateful day, on the what date was that? On the 11th, no, on the 2nd of January 2012. Remember that it was New Year and we wanted to celebrate. 2nd of January 2012. Yes, it was New Year and we wanted to celebrate. So my friend brought all his sisters and all our guys. We took 2 cars and we went to, said, we filled the money of one car with, we filled the boot of one car with money and we said, we are going to blow all this money today. So the boat was filled with money. And we went to Silverbed and said, today we are going to. And while we were at Silverbed, we noticed that only thing we could buy there was ice cream and popcorn and mineral. So we said, okay, we're going to go and drop all the girls in the house, his sisters in the house, and we're going to look for one club where we're going to blow all the mint. So on our way, if you're conversant with Abuja, we began to race, like coming out of Silverbed and you're trying to go back to Apple. There's a sharp turn that you have to take to turn back to Sheraton. If you're conversing with Abuja, you understand what I'm talking about. So we're racing on that straight road, but we know that we're going back home. So we're like trying to calculate, and while trying to turn, we hit the sharp curve and the car began to roll. I'd never forget that day. I remember the song that was playing. There's this the band song that year. I like the way you roll. The car was just as the car landed at a standstill. I looked to see the driver. We didn't see Somo. Somo had flown out of the car. Even up to today, Somo was in his second year in Covenant, and his education stopped. He was taken abroad for surgery. Even up to today, they said, I've not seen Somo since then. And I was even still told that Somo is still not doing well after 12 years. Like he has a challenge with his brain because of that accident. The car like rolled about 4 times and came to a standstill. This my ear that that had refused to receive instruction. I had a cut that went from my forehead and my ear literally almost cut off. It had to be stitched. There was blood, there was so much blood. My face was just dripping. My whole face was oozing blood. We even thought that the damage was more serious. And as it would appear, the money we had designated to go and blow that day, we ended up using it to pay hospital bills. I never forget when we were paying, dropping the mints on the counter at the emergency where they receive people in emergency. We were just dropping the mints there. The money was spent. After that incident, I had to go back to my house, and my parents were like, they can't deal with this. Huh? I put my mom through a lot. Oh, my mom through a lot. The Lord is our strength. And she was like, she can't deal with this, that I have to go back to stay. I have to go back to Edo State to stay with my dad, this, that. And immediately after recovering for a while, I went back to Edo State. While I went to Edo State, I was opportune to stay with my auntie. And my auntie is a reverend. She was ordained by the late Archbishop Benson Idahosa. And when I got there, she never told me that you're a bad boy. She never told me that you're a nuisance. She never told me that you are the reason of this, of that, of that. Or she never told me, don't do this, don't do that. She never told me. All she told me was that in her house, they go to church on Wednesdays, on Fridays, and on Sundays. That those are the rules in her house. And I was like, okay, I understand the rules in your house. And I was there for a minute. While I was there, I began to realize that some of those my friends that seemed like they couldn't do anything without me, that always come to look for me, that they were not even calling. Ah, 1 month passed, 2 months passed, 3 months passed. I began to attend my auntie's church. While attending the church, I would hear the pastor would give us, as at that point in time, I call them flamboyant tales of spiritual escapade, where people would come, other people would share tales like that. I used to call them tales. They would say they were in a dream and they were in a cage, and pastor came, and pastor brought them out of the cage. And since they had that dream that they came out of the cage, their life has changed. That this thing, one man said that she was in a dream, she was in a cage with a baby. That pastor came, brought her out of the cage and gave the baby to her hand. She was now pregnant, and I would just laugh. I'll say, so this is what they have brought me to, where they do these Nigerian films with all these pastors. But I realized that there was a pattern. I would see people that came as newcomers after being there for a while. Before you know it, they will now share testimony. So I was contacting the people that left in Abuja to find out what was going on. Everybody was just very cold. Ah, so I started thinking to myself, this one that my life is not making any progress after 3 secondary schools, after 3 different universities. Is this how am I going to move forward in my life? So I decided to listen to what the pastor was saying. I began to pray with them, and I told my auntie to introduce me to the pastor. Pastor asked me, what do I want to do? I said, I just want to be able to take care of myself. And said I should join time, told us, okay, he wants to make everybody rich. He told one person, you go and bring this expensive car. You sell it, I'll give you money, I'll give you commission. He told me, you go and bring this land from this area. Any land you bring, I'll buy it, I'll pay you commission at any price. This. He told other people, he gave other people different things. So me, I had gone to look for the land once, and the land that I brought, they said the land was in a water gauged area, so it might flood it sometimes. So he said he's not interested in it, I should bring another land. And every day he would give me money to go look for the land. I didn't look for any land. So God was telling me that if I had actually gotten those funds at that time, that I would have probably just arranged a new car, fill the car up with drugs, carry all our friends to one hotel, like we usually do, rent out the whole down floor or rent out the whole like 3 rooms, and we'll tell ourselves today we'll kill ourselves with drugs, and someone actually die. So when I thought about this, that if God that is meant to be able to bless me without compulsion feels that his blessings will be detrimental to my life and the life of others, that means I actually need to change. So with that thought and that encounter that I had, I began to cut down. And you see, the road to recovery starts with one step: self-awareness. When I had that dream, when I had that encounter, I came to a place of self-awareness. Even when we talk to people, even right now, when I talk to people that they introduce me to that they do drugs, whenever I counsel, the first thing that I ask God to help me do is to help me bring this person to a point of self-awareness. Help me bring this person to a point of sober reflection so that they can understand what their actions are causing. And from that point in time, for me, it's not like I stopped everything at a go. I just cut down on codeine, cut down on Rafino, because there were a lot. Then from there, I cut down on marijuana. From there, I cut down on any other drugs. Then it was only alcohol and cigarettes. Then before I knew it, I cut down on cigarettes. And I continued in church. I got a record deal. I got a record deal in Edo State. The Oba Benin's son offered us a record deal. But when they gave us that record deal, I realized that I had not gone to school. So I called my parents again. They were like, that was happening. I said, I want to go to school now. I said, Dad, they thought I want to live anyhow life. I said, no, I don't want to live anyhow life again. No, I want to go to school, and that was how God helped me. I said, what school do I want to go to? I said, anywhere apart from this Nigeria. Too many distractions here. So they said I should look for a school. And in that same 2012 where I had that accident, ghastly accident, I looked for another school. I looked for a school in Ghana, and I got my passport and I left. I left for Ghana in January of 2013. While I was in school, God helped me through it. I relapsed.
Hello, doctor. Can I get the tramadol for the road? Body they pay me to make I check your body, then I will tell you what you need. Hello, doctor. I know it's the way to wait. I know it's the way to wait. Make I check your body, then I go tell you what you need. Hello, doctor. No need to check it. I know say now waiting my body need. Is it your body? Make I check your body, then I go tell you what you need. Hello, doctor. You see.
Apologize to everyone. We are indeed sorry that we had that network glitch there, and point where the presentation or reflections by was really getting into each and every one of us. We had that glitch. Once again, we'd like to apologize for that. That is I mean, those are the kind of things you face, especially when
sensitization program for some youth. We train them on how to reach out to their community. I'm even going to our organization is planning to come back to Maiduguri. I was in Kebbi day before yesterday. I just came back from Kebbi for a 2 weeks sensitization series of sensitization programs in Kebbi. So I believe in the coming days, our director of media is actually on this program. I'm sure he has already captured your name and your contacts. He will be reaching out to you, reach out to a couple of, we'll reach out to you and we'll see what we can do in Kebbi. In Maiduguri. We want to come back and see how we can empower a couple of people with knowledge and some material so that they can continue to reach out to some of those communities in Borno State. So it's a pleasure meeting you, Ibrahim. I know we're going to talk in person soon by the grace of God. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, dear. Honestly, if Kenneth says that, spending over an hour talking about his experience, especially what he had to go through in school, 3 secondary school, 3 universities, and all of those things, and he's still 1% of what is someone I know in person. So I'm not talking about somebody I don't know. So that's another thing to tell parents and every one of us here that indeed the best bet will still be to avoid this. It's not even about looking for solutions now, avoiding it. Prevention. So that's why we all have a responsibility to ensure that indeed we do all that we have to do to ensure that we don't allow our kids or ourselves or anyone close to us to fall into this dangerous trap. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Loretta, just 30 seconds because Dr. Kemi is back, so I'll still need to give her 1 minute to land to conclude.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Babafemi. Kenneth, thank you to you and your media team. I see we just followed each other. Quick one. You mentioned about talking to the Senate Committee on Drug and all that. What you just mentioned is it's a fantastic strategy, and we call it integrated services, and that's what we also do in HIV and AIDS stuff. So I was wondering to connect and share a couple of ideas and just want to ask another question. I keep hearing you talking about by the grace of God. It resonates to me that you're a child of God and you're into the religious things. How much have you been able to work with some of our faith homes, our faith establishment? I'm talking about churches, mosques, even with traditional institutions, to continue the prevention work you're doing. I just want to hear a bit about that because I think it's also a very strong way to reach out. I'm sure you're doing a bit of it. Can you just say a little about that? How much you've worked with our faith leaders and faith-based, not faith-based organizations, but religious institutions, churches, mosques, traditional institutions. What have you done in that regard? I'm really interested. Because I hear that you talk a lot about God, and that's very beautiful, and I'm very happy about that. So, what have you done with these institutions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question and the opportunity again. Well, in terms of the Christian faith, I believe the first platform where I first met Mr. Baba Femi, was actually on a talk show hosted by a church institution. It was hosted by a church. I've been able to speak on invitation. I've spoken at a couple of churches, at a couple of Christian gatherings. For the past 3 years or 2 years, I've been a speaker at the Supreme Islamic Council. They usually have a national symposium on substance abuse where they bring students. For the past 2 years, we've been speakers handling the first one we just handled substance abuse generally. Then the second one I delivered the drug education curriculum that was created by the UNODC. I was God helped me, I was able to deliver it in 1 hour plus, but we delivered the whole curriculum. They were so impressed. Even the special assistant to the Speaker of the House of Reps, he was there. It was enlightening. From there, we now had another program. We opened up a program that we did in the Northwest. We started the Northwest Sensitization Program from Kaduna. I'm just coming from Kebbi. So in terms of faith-based institutions, I've always done my best to work with them based on invitations. When we've had our first program with the Supreme Islamic Council of Nigeria, the National Mosque in Abuja, I discussed with them on how we can reach out to Islamic schools, because in Nigeria, the schools, usually secondary schools, they have an association. The private ones are managed by National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools. They have a organization together. Then they have the Islamic schools. They have the association together. So I reached out to see how we can bring all the Islamic schools to bring that teachers together for a training, and it's been something we're in the talks in it. We're having talks on it, but the necessary approvals, I pushed it to as much as I could push and left. But in terms of the national proprietors of private schools, we actually had a training where we brought different teachers from different schools together in Abuja. And one of our speakers was actually the director of drug demand reduction, Dr. Ngozi. She was one of our trainers at that program. And we were able to train teachers, we empowered them with materials, and they took these materials back to some of their schools and they began training. Coincidentally, the school that hosted the program, because we did it in a very big school, and the school that the teachers now train the students, the NDLA had done a ASAP, an award, a quiz competition, and the school actually won won the award, because we had done a program 1 year in the school before bringing other teachers, so the students were properly equipped with the information to make informed choices. So as we try to reach out individually, but as we expect invitations, so God is helping us, so we reach out in the mosques, and whenever we do a program in anywhere, we always try to invite the emir, or invite. I've done programs in Imo where I invited Igwes. I've done programs in the north where I invited the emir, invited different leaders in the community to be part of the program. There are important stakeholders that we try to capture them in the program, because when people are being reintegrated back into the society, these stakeholders have a voice. So when there's an emir that understands that substance use is not a criminal challenge, that is a public health challenge, he looks at the view when they're integrating someone back into society. There's a way he looks at it. We even had a paper that we delivered at the conference about the influence of traditional rulers in Nupe land on substance abuse treatment. There's a paper that we delivered last year at Crystal Conference. So we capture religious leaders. I'm passionate about my faith. I'm passionate about reaching out to people of other faiths in a respectful manner that delivers the issues and helps the people through what they're going through. Thank you very much.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Ken. Okay, we have barely 6 minutes left. Let's take Dr. Kemi. You take 1 minute
Real
out
quick.
of the 6 minutes left.
Yeah, real quick. At the end of the whole story, I was talking about my son. He had 4 tramadols left, went to the hospital, and the doctor decided not to give him any more tramadol, that he should use the 4 he has left for about 2 days, and gave him another dose of ibuprofen for the inflammation. The whole idea of it, the doctor even spoke to me. I told him to call the doctor on WhatsApp and call me here. And the doctor spoke to me, and I said, it's better than, getting addicted to it. So it's very important for everybody to explain to your young people narcotics, opioids, and nothing. If you educate your children, pretty much they'll have that. On the church thing, Mr. Kenneth, thank you. Loretta, Loretta, you know that in America, church and state is separated. So we can't touch too much on religion. Mr. Kenneth, I'm going to go to youth ministries in Baltimore, especially in black churches, because they like that if a guest comes in a youth ministry to talk about drugs. So thanks for that idea on the religion thing. You have to be very sensitive on religion in America. Mr. Babafemi, thank you for having me as always.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kemi Oluloyo. Dr. Kemi Oluloyo has been an awesome compatriot on this journey, and we appreciate your contributions always. Okay, let's make use of the next few minutes left. Okay, let's have we have Tosin Oni Orison, Abdul Hakim Mokhtar, Prince Moses Ogbeche, Anikulapo, Oluwasegun Akintunde, pharmacist Fosia. But I think I will land on pharmacist Fosia. Would you are you ready for us? Any contribution or question quickly? Pharmacist Fosia, if you are not ready, I'll move on to the next person. Okay, let's Tosin Oni Orison. Are you any question or contributions?
All right, good afternoon, everyone, once again. Thank you very much for this platform. I'll be very quick. There have been a lot of questions on my mind, as the program was going on. Apart from today, we've had questions that nobody to answer us. I'll be very quick. I was trying to even message Dr. Kemi as the program was going on. Two of my brother-in-laws are since I've always known them. From I believe from high school. One of them was a dropout from medicine. The other was a dropout from computer engineering. And as Kenneth was speaking, I was resonating that if Kenneth had hope, I just felt these guys will have hope too. Then that third is now. In fact, one of them was a lecturer at Aptech, one of these computer-based institutes. He was already lecturing when he was out of secondary school. So these guys were this intelligent. But right now, we can't even say their lives their parents have spent. I think all the rehabs in Nigeria, the very good rehabs, all the reputable rehabs, they've been there. And it doesn't seem there's any hope. Nothing is changing. I wouldn't even say it's getting worse. To the point that one of them was trying to even remove kitchen fittings from one of the rehabs to sell. I think he was selling them. They've taken them back home now. Recently he held his parents hostage in the house. His father cannot go out. A man of over 70, his dad is over 70. He can't leave the house. He destroyed his phone. They have to keep knives and cutleries away from them. It's really frustrating. They are drained. So thank God for a platform like this. We can ask questions. We can, if there's hope, you can let us know from people who have experience in such things, and we can always, refer them to the right place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tosin Oni Orison. Okay, Kai, would you want to speak to that before I add something on that? Kenneth, you have to unmute yourself if you can hear me. Okay, go ahead.
Hello? Oh, yeah. One thing I want to let you know that there's always hope. There's always hope. I've seen people walk out of addiction, not only drug addiction, people that are addicted to other lifestyles, people that come out of gambling, people that come out of Yahoo boys that were indoctrinated in cults. I've seen them come out of it. And there are different forms of treatment. There is the faith-based treatment. There's the normal treatment. There's outpatient program. There are support groups. There are different forms of treatment. So if you have been trying one treatment, it can be the time that maybe instead of trying this other one, you should switch from the conventional treatment and maybe try a faith-based treatment or try another type of treatment.
So it's just interesting. They don't see anything wrong with themselves. You ask them, they don't believe there's anything wrong with them. They would even lecture you more on things that. So they feel
that's actually where the main problem is. There is need for that. There is need for that admittance, that self-consciousness, that self. They have to first accept that there is a problem. Awareness. That's awareness. Without that awareness, that's obviously they are living in denial, and that's why the problem lingers up till now. But definitely, like Ken has said, there is indeed hope, and we'll continue to stay in touch with us. We'll continue to see how best we can support them. But then the family, you who are their friends, relations, you need to get them to understand and accept the fact that indeed there is a problem. They have to, you see, if you followed Ken's story very well, whether at the first stage of his secondary school problems or later in the university, at the point he was withdrawing or dropping this thing, he had to admit, understand that indeed this is a problem and this is not the way I want to go. That's always the definite point of actually getting treatment or getting support or getting out of this whole problem. You first of all have to take that responsibility that indeed there is a problem and you don't want to live this way. Thank you once again, Tosin Onioris. At this point, we are past 1 minute. We have 1 minute past the hour, so I'd like Kenneth to give us his closing remarks before we get off the space. Thank you. Please go ahead, Kenneth.
I'd like to thank everybody here for the opportunity given to me to share my story and to share my voice. I'd like to thank the NDLA under the leadership of retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa. I'd like to thank the Director of Media Advocacy, Dr. Femi. I'd like to thank Mr. Francis that reached out to me. I'd like to thank everyone that was here to listen to our story. I'd like to thank our team working behind the scenes, recording, reaching out to other people as we're speaking. And I want to just let everyone know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. The same God that did it for me can do it for you. I want to let you know that drug use is not a criminal justice challenge. It is a public health challenge. So show some love to people, help someone, and I'm available. You can reach out to us through Twitter or on Instagram or any of our social media handles. Thank you so much. I want to use this opportunity to actually ask the NDLA. NDLA, please follow us back.
No problem. No problem, Kenneth. Sorry if we have. If we. I'm sure it's because I didn't recognize that handle, but I know you in person, so we'll definitely do that. Thank you. Thank you very much once again. Kenneth Anector is the executive director of a New Thing International Foundation with over a decade now in the whole effort to raise awareness about substance abuse and also support those who are going through this challenge. Yes, Ayodeji, I saw you are raising your hand, but it's past the hour. We're closing the program now. Please come around next Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. is actually the time. Definitely, we'll still continue this same conversation. We do it every week. This is our 93rd edition. This is the 93rd edition of this conversation. It's something we've been doing with quite a lot of awesome people around across the world. We've had guests all over the world. Quite a number of our compatriots are joining us from the US, from Europe, Asia, and all over the world. So indeed, this is all that we do to raise awareness and also share facts that would help to save lives, not just in Nigeria, but across the world. But we are more particular about our own great country, Nigeria. So thank you once again, and we apologize, Ayodeji, that's Ayodeji Joseph, for our inability to take your question, your contribution today. But perhaps if it's a question that you need us to attend to, please, you can come to our DM. We'll definitely respond or assist you in any way you need some support. But then another way you can also get, if you have any emergency or you have anything you need some support, immediately we have our call center where we have experts, counselors, psychologists, psychotherapists, and psychiatric doctors, all of them working 24/7 around the clock. We have a toll-free helpline through which you can reach all of them. That's 0800 1020 3040. Please feel free to call this helpline. It's a toll-free helpline. You're not paying for the call. That's the NDLA call center. Thank you very much once again. We'd like to appreciate all our compatriots, Dr. Kemi Oluloyo, Dr. Loretta Ekanem, John Ogunjimi, Okiti Ogon, Mohammed Bafo, Usma, Ibrahim Daudawa, Buttercup, Black Man, UNODC Nigeria, Uncle Deji, Ibrahim Kuru, Jones Ushe, Ezel Demba One, Jasi Babakwage, Baba Balakasina, Caleb, Jerry Suleiman, Felix Ogwezi, MJ, Sheyi Awolowo, Prince Eshimokai, Dr. Jonah Kolo, Dr. Asia Damubil, HM Batu, All Ground Pressure Group, Tosin Oni, Orisan, Abdul Hakim, Mokhtar, Prince Moses Ogbeche, Anikulapo, Oluwasegun Akintunde, Pharmacist Fosia, Dr. Ambassador Kelly Enang, Ayodeji Joseph, and okay, I think Toby, City Boy, Omobola, all of you guys, we appreciate you for coming around today. Please, next week we'll continue this same conversation and we'll have another interesting guest. Please do join us next week. But before we go, let me appreciate all my colleagues behind the scene working with me here: Shidi, Musa, Francis, Mahmoud, Dele, Val, Kumbi, Comfort, and the rest of you guys. Thank you very much for being supportive. Thank you once again. Please ensure that you go back on this conversation. Please, we have two parts for today because of the initial, at the point we had a glitch, so there was a recording, and then the second part, which is a continuation. Also, please share all of this with people so that they can benefit from these great insights provided by our guests and other contributors across the world today. Once again, we'd like to appreciate our guest today, Kenneth Anector, the Executive Director of A New Thing International Foundation. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being bold enough to share your reflections, your experiences with us, and we appreciate this greatly. We'll continue to partner with you, we'll continue to work with you and many others to ensure that we curb this menace of substance abuse in our country. Until we come your way again next week, Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. I remain yours sincerely, Femi Babafemi. Thank you and do enjoy your weekend. Mahmoud, please over to you.
Thank you very much, sir.
And no matter whatever people don't do, we don't see to you, but generally, silent killer, funny, no they look face, you know they look face, give yourself a break, we don't want you, don't do. No matter whatever people don't do drugs. Don't do drugs, don't do drugs, don't try it, he go talk you home.